Welcome to Laurel Smith of Chicago, Illinois, nonprofit home video and artworks creations. Now, in this particular video, we will be looking at the present Middle East crisis as it relates to the Israeli and Palestinian land debate. Now, there's an astronomical event occurring in our solar system that decodes the present Middle East land debate in the Northeast African land surface area. We see this V-shaped piece of land and a thin strip of water referred to as the Euphrates River. It separates, according to the geography books, Northwest Africa from East Africa. However, if that Euphrates River dry up, we will see that the V-shaped piece of land in which history books and the national news media is referring to as the Middle East. Now remember, this is located in Northeast Africa. That V-shaped piece of land is a part of the African continent. So when we look at the Old Testament U.F.O landing, or Will Within the Will like U.F.O landing, we're looking at a U.F.O landing the size of several cities in the Northeast African continent area. Now remember, that's the V-shaped piece of land in which the news media is referring to as the Middle East. So as we decode the present Middle East crisis, with modern astronomical events occurring within our solar system, we see the Exodus route out of ancient Egypt is a line 29 degrees north from the top of the SPHINX head. It goes across the desert and the Euphrates River into Northeast Africa. Again, that's what the V-shaped piece of land is in which the news media is calling the Middle East. Now remember, in that V-shaped piece of land, Iraq, Syria, Babylon, and Mount Sinai and Jerusalem is located. So if we reterm or redefine the Middle East spin by the news media, we would see a war occurring in Northeast Africa. Now that's that V-shaped land where Babylon, Jerusalem, Syria, Afghanistan is located, and Palestine. So when we redefine what's going on in the Middle East to astronomical events, we must look at the Chinese satellite image Pyramid 7 form of Comet Ison. As it orbits around our sun, a huge comet shaped like a pyramid that's surrounded by a ball of the rotating holy hydrogen light of creation. Now, the Chinese placed this image of a pyramid orbiting around our sun on the internet. And when you look at the video, you're going to immediately see an African-Egyptian pyramid connected to a black Ethiopian lion sphinx of ancient Judaism. Now remember, we're talking about the Mid-East wars between the English pilgrims that started America and the United States. So we're talking about the kings and queens of England taking over Africa. Okay, when we look at the Middle East wars, we see it occurring in Northeast Africa. Now again, that's the Middle East, or the V-shaped piece of land. So when we look at the kings and queens of England writing the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible and denying the African sphinx Ethiopia, origin of Judaism. Now we look at the decoding factor in the present Middle East crisis between Israel and Palestine. So as we look at 75% of the African resources, of the African continent resources, is controlled by the IMF, International Monetary Fund, through the banks of England and Europe, okay, and Great Britain. So that means that the ones that wrote the English Bible started America as English pilgrims. Now when we look at the African pyramid on the back of the American dollar bill, missing an African sphinx, this decodes the Middle East war, because when we go back to the Middle East, we see an African-Egyptian pyramid and the black African lion sphinx couched down in front of the Isaiah 19:19 Giza pyramids. Now when we talk about the Middle East wars, it's occurring in Northeast Africa, in the Holy Land area of this V-shaped piece of land, which is again referring to the Northeast geographic land area of Africa, or that SPHINX 1. So when we look at this with Google satellite imagery, we draw a white line, well, we draw 12 lines from South Africa up to North Africa, and look at it with Google satellite imagery. We see Africans living in each white line. Hence comes the term the 12 African continent tribes. So the 12th line is where the African Ethiopian lion sphinx in North Africa exists. So when we dispel the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible that's read in every neighborhood church that speaks of the book of Psalms, 105th chapter and 23rd verse, 12 sons of Jacob, 12 black boys following the old man with a cane called Jacob into Egypt, and starting Judaism. This is a bald-faced lie, but this is what seemed to be the backbone of the Middle East wars. Okay, now you say, why is this a lie in the book of Psalms 105th chapter 23rd verse? Well, you cannot have 12 black boys following the old man with the cane into ancient Egypt and starting Judaism. Why? Because Egypt already exists. Hence, we destroy Psalms 105th chapter 23rd verse. Israeli incursions into Northeast Africa. Okay, remember, that's what Jerusalem is in Northeast Africa. But geography books and the national news media refer to it as the Middle East, that V-shaped piece of land. So when we dispel someone entering into ancient Egypt in the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible, we're talking about the English pilgrims separating from the Queen and Kings of England, and in boats they traveled to America and started as pilgrims and started the United States. So today they celebrate their freedom from England and Europe with the Thanksgiving holiday every year. You carve turkey. So when we go back to the Middle East wars, we say, wait a minute. Okay, wait. This war is occurring in the biblical African lion sphinx area, right? That's Jerusalem. Okay. Now, once you identify GIZA, G-I-Z-A, okay, where the African sphinx lion of the tribe of Judah is couched down in front of the Isaiah 19:19 Giza pyramids, facing east toward the biblical light that created the world. That's Psalms 84. That's 1 John 1:1, 15 billion sun zone that existed in the black outer regions of space before it created the 5 billion world. And it returns in the cube crystal city structure of New Jerusalem, crystallographic, projected 101 atomic planes. So when we look at this African sphinx pyramids orbiting around the sun, the Chinese satellite images provided those images and placed them on the internet. So we see a common Ison pyramid 7 form. It's a comet shaped like a pyramid surrounded by a ball of holy alkaline creation. This